Is atheism a religion? Revisited. Okay, so I'm revisiting this topic because I really didn't get the terms as correct as I wanted to. Now, I am not like a college educated, like English type person. At one point in time, I was probably pretty good at English, but I feel that I've slipped quite a bit from where I used to be at into a more common dialect, if you will. So I had made the statement that atheism is a belief system and that atheism is a worldview. And I'm going to say that I'm not entirely correct when I say that. Those are not the correct terms to use. I would say that atheism is a foundation for any number of worldviews and any number of belief systems, as many as are atheists. Because atheists don't believe that there is a God, right? So I kind of botched that up in the comments before. There are some people who are atheists that believe that God doesn't exist, and they have a belief in that. They have a faith that God doesn't exist. But some people want to be distinguished as simply not believing that God exists, as more of a lack of belief in the existence of God as opposed to a belief that God does not exist, because belief for them is a stigmatized thing because they see it in things that they find abhorrent. Fair enough. I'm going to be fair enough to all you atheists out there and give you that, uh, let you have that. So I would say that it is foundational, though. Uh, when somebody doesn't believe in God, whether they believe there is no God or they don't believe in God, there is a fundamental difference in how they view life and how they structure their beliefs. There's a fundamental difference. And so that's really the core of what I was trying to get to. And I find it different because the questions are answered differently, especially in generality of um, the generality of Judeo-Christian, society and values. Okay, so people who are Jewish and people who are Christian, they get up believing that God has a divine purpose for their life, or at least most of them do. Some people believe that they might not be, some people believe that they're not worthy to have any purpose that came from God, or something like that. It's kind of silly and it's not really reflective of the Bible. But most people the vast majority of people who are theists in the world, believe that their life has some kind of purpose. And so atheists, uh, some atheists don't think closely enough at this, and they say, I would say like 8 out of 10 people will probably say, I believe my life has a purpose. But then I would also say that, probably 4 out of 10 people, um, at least, at least 4 out of 10 people are going to say, I'm an atheist. Probably somewhere around in there. So, uh, I would say that some people really just don't think about that topic. So, um, but anyway, this question is closely tied to what your purpose is, or whether or not you have a purpose. And that's why I describe atheism as the foundation of any number of worldviews and belief systems. And in those, there's no objective meaning in the universe. Every meaning would have to be subjective, philosophically speaking, for the atheist. The only objective meaning that you might find in the universe is that you would need to procreate. That's the purpose of it. But other than that, you would subjectively have to come up with your own meaning. As in when it comes to the theist derives some kind of meaning from, their God or their spirituality. I mean, whether that meaning is objectively good or evil or right or wrong, I'm just explaining it in philosophical terms. I'm not delving into different religions and saying whether they're right or wrong at this moment. So yeah, to me, it's that fundamental question of is there purpose and meaning? And so to me, that's fundamentally different because there is virtually no, outside of procreation, there's virtually no purpose or meaning in atheism, if you even want to consider that a meaning. I guess nature's purpose for you. So yeah, I'd say that was probably objective for somebody who's an atheist. But at the same time, the reason why I said that is the reason why I was talking about it in such strong terms is because I do believe it's fundamental. It's a fundamental thing. You're going to live your life differently if you believe there's a God than if you don't. Generally speaking. Generally speaking. Now, let's not have to have that guy who's like, well, here's like the exception to the rule. I get it. There's like slight exceptions to the rules and stuff, and that's okay. But I'm making a general statement here. All right, that's about it.